At 3 a.m. on October 25th, 2025, by the Seversky Donets River in eastern Donetsk, winds raged over the plains, slicing through the night. The ground vibrated beneath tons of heavy metal as two massive armies, Russia and China, moved side by side through the cold haze. One side displayed Moscow's red star, the other Beijing's scarlet flag. Riverside artillery boomed in sequence. Rockets cut across the sky, and firelight shimmered on the frozen waters, a harbinger of coming terror. In just minutes, the two strongest forces on the continent would invade Kramatorsk, believing one blow could destroy Ukraine's defenses. But the question, holding the world breathless, was, will Ukraine be crushed by two giants' might, or will the river be their grave? Follow me into the battlefield to watch it unfold. October 25th, 2025. Seversky Donets River, eastern Donetsk. The night was frozen, air biting like steel. On the northern bank, Russian armored convoy slowly advanced through fog, 30T, 80 BVM tanks rolling ahead, engines shaking the mist. Behind, 20 BMP 312 2S 19 MSTA-S self-propelled guns and 400 troops forming a 5-mile line of armor and fire. Above, two Orlandia's drones circled, sending live data every 3 seconds to Russian command in Belgorod. From the east came their partners, Chinese Armored Battalion, 25 Type 99A tanks and 20 ZBD-04A carriers, headlights cutting the fog like a show of power. Their goal was clear: seize the western bank, crush Ukrainian defenses, open a corridor to Kramatorsk, securing a strategic hold in Donetsk to reshape the war. That confidence, that arrogance, meets cold, calculated genius. Stay with me and subscribe to see the trap spring alive. While Russian and Chinese tanks roared toward the Seversky Donets, deep under an abandoned factory outside Kramatorsk, a different army sat silent. Dozens of Ukrainian officers watched the digital map flicker with red markers, tracking enemy moves in real time. They saw the attack coming 21 days ago. NATO satellite data and intercepted Russian transmissions revealed the entire plan down to the minute. For 3 sleepless weeks, Ukrainian engineers and sappers turned 42 square miles of farmland into a wired death zone. Beneath the frost lay 120 TM, 83 anti-tank mines, each with shaped charges, to slice 110 millimeters of hardened steel. Each mine connected by fiber optic triggers to a remote console 5 miles away, with 45 thermal sensors buried in drifts or hidden in hollow trees, creating a grid sensitive to a heartbeat from 8 miles away. 3 narrow, safe corridors left open intentionally, gaps to lure Russian and Chinese convoys into crossfire. Behind those, 12 Crab, 155 millimeters howitzers waited, barrels pre-aimed with Excalibur shells. Overhead, 6 Bayraktar TB, 2 drones orbited at 12,000 feet, cameras feeding live data to fire systems. On forest flanks, 18 Leopard 2, a 6 tanks, 60 Warmate munitions, and 200 FPV kamikaze drones in radio silence, each with a coordinate and kill order. This was no ordinary defense, a digital ambush built by patience, math, and foresight. Every inch of frozen soil calculated, every explosion pre-written. As twin armies closed in, Ukraine's trap ready to strike. Some say technology wins wars. Others say patience does. What do you believe? Comment below. If you were the commander, would you trigger the trap? Share below. 4:45 a.m. Engines roared like thunder on steel. From north, the Russian column, 30 tanks and 400 troops, advanced like a metal tide, headlights cutting fog. From east, 25 Chinese, Type 99A tanks and 300 soldiers, moved in perfect formation, engines synced to the second. Above, 30 CH-901. Suicide drones swirled the sky, tracing faint red arcs in frozen mist. In armored cabins, officers exchanged confident grins. Russian crews blasted music over intercoms. Chinese commanders filmed the approach for propaganda. To them, this was history written. Day 2, empires crossed the river together. Commanders barked orders over open channels, convinced nothing could stop their advance. In Ukrainian command, screens lit up. 2 red dots on digital map, closing in. Commander leaned forward. Eyes cold. Activate, he ordered. 5:02 a.m. On battlefield. Everything changed in one breath. Bukovel AD electronic array, hidden in Pine Ridge, unleashed electromagnetic chaos. In 6 seconds, every Russian, Orlan 10, and Chinese BZK-005 drone went blind. Feeds turning to static, cameras spinning uselessly above valley. 30 CH-901 kamikaze drones lost control, swirling in panic. Before crashing into trees, tanks, frozen earth, sky cracked open. From ridgeline, 60 Warmate, loitering munitions rose in formation, followed by 200 FPV kamikaze drones, sweeping low over frost, rotors screaming in cold air, like 1,000 razors. On radar, solid wall of movement. Chinese, Russian operators mistook for reinforcements. Tightened formation Ukraine's plan. Lead T-80 BVM crawled forward, 46-ton frame crushing snow. Then metallic click. In Ukrainian bunker, operator saw signal flash red. Slammed, detonator. Blast ripped 4 inches of composite armor, hurling 46-ton tank sideways. Shock waves tore frozen air. 2 more tanks hit charges, exploded, igniting ammo inside. Flames lit faux red. Panic rippled convoy. Engines roared. Tracks slipped. Vehicles collided in chaos. From ridgeline, Ukrainian artillery adjusted range. 12 Crab 155 millimeters. Howitzers opened fire, raining Excalibur shells at 22,000 feet per second. First barrage hit supply trucks, second command vehicles. In minutes, over 20 armored units burned by river. Chinese column tried turn, but CH-901 drones lost control, crashing owned tanks. Valley filled fire. Metal, static. Overhead, Bayraktar TB-2S glided silent through smoke, marking targets with lasers. Under 5 minutes, perfect Russian-Chinese advance became steel graveyard. Riverbank promising glory, now glowed burning wrecks. Monument to arrogance. Buried Ukrainian precision. First, trap flawless. But Ukraine, not done. Watch how precision, fire, turns battlefield hell. 5:07 a.m. Valley cauldron of flame. Through blinding haze, Ukrainian gunners saw moment. Radio cracked. Short. Cold. Final fire mission. All batteries engage. 12 Crab 155 millimeters. Howitzers opened at once. Barrels vomiting fire every 9 seconds. Ground behind ridge shuddered recoil. Moments. 48 Excalibur shells, 103 pounds each, arced sky at Mach 3.5. First wave struck Russian fuel column. 6 trucks, with 60,000 gallons diesel, ignited single roaring chain. Shockwave shattered windows 3 miles away. Second wave, shells raining on Chinese command vehicles. And artillery crews opened terrain. Each impact cratered frozen ground, flinging dirt and plates air. 1 shell pierced Chinese Type 99, a turret, clean through, detonating 125mm ammunition rack. Tank erupted volcano, scattering molten steel snow. Tree line, 18 Leopard 2A6 tanks, surged forward. Engines roared 1,500 horsepower, cutting smoke flame. Thermal sights locked targets chaos. Nearest T-80 BVM burst flames. Single round 120mm Rheinmetall gun, 1 by 1. Russian armor lines collapsed, pinpoint fire. Counter-attack mechanical precision. Bayraktar TB-2S hovered 12,000 feet, Relaying coordinates 4 seconds. Fire control. Update triggered artillery storm. Chinese ZBD-4A carriers tried pullback river. Ukrainian FPV drones swooped, slamming open turrets. Detonating impact. 7 continuous minutes. Valley furnace. 50 armored vehicles burned simultaneously. Ammunition cascading explosions. Temperature river rose to 60 degrees. Under minute. Snow melted inferno. 5 a.m. Proud Russian-Chinese formation gone. Replaced black smoke. Ruptured metal. Silence, broken hiss, burning fuel. Seversky Donets. Frozen river. Boiled red fire reflection. Ukraine not stopped invasion. Rewrote modern battle laws. Turning precision. Patience. Intelligence. Unstoppable weapon. 5 a.m. Note M. GPS jamming array. Buried 8 meters. Reinforced soil. Activated. Full output. Electromagnetic wall. Surged 60 square miles. Nearly 186,000 miles second. 0.7 seconds. Every Russian. Chinese signal vanished spectrum. 92 drones. 14 radar units. 38 encrypted channels blinded simultaneously. Above smoke, 30 CH-901 kamikaze drones veered course. Guidance systems fried. Spun control burning meteors. Crashing own formations. One slammed Type 99A, igniting 3.2 tons diesel. Another tore Russian BMP-3, detonating 430mm shells. In under 2 minutes, friendly fire from their own drones destroyed 6 tanks, 4 carriers, and killed over 60 soldiers. The air filled with distorted voices. Russian channels dissolved into static. Orders reduced to fragments. Pull back. Fire north. Nothing remained before the line went dead. Orlan 10 UAVs, $120,000 each. Dropped from the sky, one by one. Their circuits fried by jamming pulses. Ukrainian systems protected by NATO encryption remained untouched. Bayraktar TB2 climbed through the haze, painting targets with millimeter precision. In 4 minutes, 7 MAM-L missiles streaked down, annihilating 4 command trucks, 2 ammunition convoys, and a Panzer S-1 launcher worth $14 million. By 5 o'clock in the morning, half the valley's communications were gone. 70% of enemy assets were blind and immobile. The Russians fired smoke, while the Chinese shelled empty coordinates. The battlefield no longer obeyed. It belonged to Ukraine's algorithmic mind. In the frozen valley, where 2 armies of flesh and steel had lost sight of everything, one truth emerged. In modern war, the first to lose connection loses the world. At 7 o'clock in the morning, on October 25, 2025, as the sun rose over the smoking ruins along the Seversky, Donetsk, Kyiv, Moscow, Beijing, Washington, the world shifted. The last fires burned along the riverbank, beside 53 destroyed tanks, 27 armored vehicles, and 700 bodies scattered across the ice. A joint Russian-Chinese force with $1.3 billion in hardware had ceased to exist in under 20 minutes. In Moscow, the Kremlin's emergency lights glowed red. The war room fell silent as casualty feeds blanked out 10,000 soldiers cut off. No armor left, just a blank line of radio telemetry. Intelligence chiefs whispered fragments, blaming a leak that had exposed Operation Twin Fangs. For the first time since the war began, Russian officers stopped shouting and started whispering. 7 time zones away, Beijing's Central Military Commission met behind closed doors. The official report called the loss a tactical withdrawal. But in the room, the truth was undeniable. The PLA's Type 99A spearhead, the pride of China's armored forces, had been digitally dismantled before a single coordinated shot was fired. No state media reported it, yet satellite images went global. In Washington, Pentagon lines buzzed with quiet astonishment. Analysts replayed the engagement frame by frame. Electronic warfare dominance in 42 seconds. Drone coordination accurate to 0.8 meters. Ukrainian strike efficiency, 94%. One general leaned back and muttered, "They didn't just survive. They rewrote the rulebook." In NATO headquarters in Brussels, experts drafted a new doctrine overnight, Algorithmic Warfare Response Standard 1. It formally recognized what the battlefield had just proven. AI-driven defense networks could outmaneuver traditional mechanized armies. In Kyiv, against the echo of distant artillery, Ukraine's commander-in-chief faced the press. Cameras flashed as he delivered one line: "We no longer fight for land, we fight for understanding." The quote went viral within hours, echoed from Washington to Tokyo to Berlin. For the first time in modern history, the world had witnessed two superpowers blinded not by weapons but by intellect. The message was clear. A new era had begun, where wars are won, not by strength or speed, but by the ability to see what others cannot.